and moves were made. Hands were shook, money exchanged hands, possibly drugs. But it was all good. It was all in the name of fantasy football.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dynasty. Like I said, we all see things differently.
Put it on his shirt.
I just drank what tasted like a root beer, but now I'm feeling kind of tipsy.
Ride that unicorn, my friend.
I was really going to do an awful Mexican accent, but I realized how mad I'd be at someone else for doing that. So, hi.
We all are very intrigued and very interested in what will happen this year.
It is 10:32 in the p.m. I am Peter Livingston, host of the Dynasty podcast, a seasonal fantasy football podcast in which 12 friends enter, one leaves champion. I am joined today by last year's champion, the owner of the Bertjergs, Tim Livingston. Tim Livingston,
hi.
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Tim brought us some celebration ale because we are celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yep, we are indeed.
Thanksgiving.
'Tis the season.
If you're on the East Coast, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
May you celebrate the day in which we ravaged an entire populace of people from the United States of America.
Actually, so supposedly there's new evidence that have come to light that the entire story of that was fabricated.
Of what?
That, like, the idea of the first Thanksgiving. Okay, that part that you're talking about, that definitely happened.
Oh, okay. I thought,
but like the story of the first Thanksgiving,
it's like, I'm pretty sure
was quote unquote an old wives' tale that became canon and became kind of the official. Like, there's new stuff like that that has been that people are talking about. Like,
I thought that the first winter, the white men were saved by the non-whites.
Why?
And then
reciting Eagles lyrics now.
And then the next year, in honor of them being saved, I thought that they
ritualistically killed the turkey,
did some sort of thing. But then it got crazy because then the rest of the soon-to-be Americans showed up and started like massacring people and kicking their heads down the streets and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know what? No, I'm not saying Thanksgiving,
everybody.
We're saying Indigenous Peoples Day in our house. Huh, Chelsea? Chelsea's in studio.
Indigenous Peoples Day in the Livingston household.
Oh,
yeah, that's Columbus Day.
Well, both days. We're going with both days. You know what? The indigenous people have had it pretty damn bad, and I think if anybody does deserve 2 days, it's the indigenous peoples.
I'm with you.
I mean,
sorry, I lost the
cancer gets like a month per professional sporting event.
Right.
Like each one gets like a month. We can give our people.
Remember when we did months on those Livingston brothers?
I do remember that.
That was great.
I do remember that.
It was phenomenal.
Chelsea, would you like to give one thing that you are thankful for?
Anything.
A soundproof garage.
I mean, that's phenomenal.
Tim, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that I actually get to eat Thanksgiving dinner this year.
That's right. Last year you were on your crazy diet.
Millie. Go, Millie.
I'll tell you what I'm thankful for.
Laundry in the background?
Laundry in the background. And laundry in the background. It'll make for some good white noise.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway.
Why has it got to be white noise?
This is something... You know, we had to do it. I've been so busy. I didn't get to do my Tuesday show recapping week 11. And Chelsea was like, listen, I got to do laundry. But I was like, I got a podcast. I haven't done one this week, and we got to do it for the people.
For the people. Got to give the people what they want.
So
this is the compromise.
Here we are. You're just going to have to live with the background noise of laundry being done.
Right.
So, Tim, we are in the home stretch of fantasy football. How has your fantasy football season been for you thus far?
It's been really weird. Like, I feel like I I have had by far the weirdest season, I think, in the league because I was the returning champ. I was in a good position with my keepers. I made the risky move, thinking my team was good, of going and getting Zeke Elliott with my first-round pick. And for half a season, it looked like it was really going to work, even though I lost David Johnson. And then Zeke gets officially suspended after being unsuspended like 6 times. And now I'm in this really weird spot where there's 3 teams, actually technically all 4 teams, vying for the division title. And the growing concern is that it won't matter because Keezer's going to boat race everybody. And now I'm kind of in this weird spot where I've traded away draft picks. I really have no other draft picks to trade away. And next year I'm just going to be like shrug emoji with some of my things I need to do.
Well, you were already in shrug emoji this year because all of your keepers are RB1s.
Yeah, and like they're either hurt or suspended. Although
yeah,
Jordan
but
Howard's
I'm talking about for next year though.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I think what's happened is, way earlier than most years, there were people who played for the next year, as opposed to, I mean, like this season
year
has had a few teams just basically say no chance. I'm just putting, I'm punting, and that's led to kind of some, I would say discretionary, nuanced side-eyeing at some owners. But at the same time, if you make the move to say, my team is not going to be competitive, then you either have to do and all 3 divisions are very, very weird. You have the one division with the team that's running away. You have the other division which has the top 2 guys fighting for whoever's going to face Keezer and whoever won't face Keezer. And then you have the other division where literally there's 4 teams that are still in it. And it kind of shows you, like, there's the team that's gone all in. There's a division that's been the same division it's been since the beginning of this league. And then there's the other division, which seems to be like the chaos division, where something goes wrong or something changes on a yearly basis. One team's dominant, another team's dominant. Everybody's in the race, etc. And I don't really know how to prepare for the next couple of weeks because there's a part of me that says we could have a 7-7 division champ.
In our
division.
I don't think that's possible.
It is. Tahir's 7-4. He's not
Okay.
6. He's not 8-3.
Okay. I would say out of all the teams, you've had probably some of the worst luck, but also some of the best luck at the same time. If that's possible,
I've had very good luck.
Losing DJ's horrible, but the gamble of getting Zeke paid off.
Right.
Howard got hurt. The trade.
Well, he played hurt. He
right.
basically played.
Right. Not saying that he wasn't playing, but he's still doing well.
Yeah. He's an RB1. He's a lower end RB1,
Yeah.
but he's an RB1.
Yeah. And then the trade that I thought was doo-doo butter is
Larry
now...
Fitzgerald. Yeah.
No, not that. Well, that is... I think he's wide receiver 1. Not the number 1 wide receiver,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty
he's
sure
a
the
top
Larry
12
for-
wide receiver.
He might be... I want to look at that. Maybe I'll look at that in a minute, but... that ended up being very good for you, where we were all kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. Again, I think people have to draft Larry Fitzgerald. Like, I know that we kind of like poo-poo him because he's old and he's not supposed to be that good, but he's freaking...
Another 1,000-yard season.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's absolutely amazing.
This will be his 12th or 13th 1,000-yard season.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
But the trade that I was talking about was you trading Doug Martin to Robin, which was at first, I thought, horrible. Good for me in the division, right? But then Coleman is now getting
RB1 touches
and is putting up legit
Yeah.
like tier 1 RB1
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
And so there's been this weird it's been like a next man up type thing where every time you lose somebody, like somebody else just happens to be.
And now, so people, I don't know if people have been hearing this out of Raiders camp, but I made the trade for Amari Cooper thinking that late in the season that he was going to be featured.
You did.
Now that doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. And
When did you trade for Amari Cooper?
What?
When did you trade for Amari
2
Cooper?
weeks ago. Or last week, something like that. Yeah, last week.
I must have missed.
Yeah, it was under the radar. He got a garbage time touchdown. Him and DJ had the same amount of points.
Right.
But now I have Danny Woodhead, and I'm sitting there going like, all right, well, let's see, maybe Danny Woodhead slots in my flex and see what happens. But really just weird things. Like I feel like because the fact that I'm basically betting that if I can get to the playoffs, that DJ will be there in week 15.
You're
I'm
hoping.
That's what my hope is. And also that Coleman is still the number 1 in Atlanta. But I do have one of the great trump cards. God, I hate saying that word now. In this league, and that is a week 16 Zeke Elliott.
Exactly.
And I hate to sit there and think, even if it's me. I mean, the other good thing about this is right now I'm avoiding Keizer, which means that I would just need to get to the playoffs and beat either Robin or Joe and get to a title game where I'll have Zeke in my starting lineup. And that's really just
right.
That's something I cannot personally pass up.
Right. That would be a really, really, really dangerous team. If you look at a lineup that has Coleman, Zeke, Howard,
yeah,
Larry Fitzgerald,
DeAndre Hopkins, and
Amari Cooper.
Well, no. What's his name? Why am I forgetting the guy who's been? Oh, and Michael Thomas.
Oh,
Yeah,
Michael Thomas.
Michael
Yeah.
Thomas. Yeah, Cooper would slide.
Not as good in standard this year.
No, and that's because more balanced offense, more run game for New Orleans this year because their defense. That's one thing that nobody saw coming is they really expected the defense to be a lower third defense, and so Drew Brees going to be playing from behind, and you're going to see those sweet Michael Thomas 15-yard dig routes late in games to move the chains and such. But instead it has become, hey, Mark Ingram is really freaking good. What's his name? Alvin Kamara is really, really good. Let's use these guys. And Thomas has basically just been a possession receiver who's not featured anymore. And so he's become more of a WR2/3, depending on what you think.
Which is where I honestly think that's where he should be. He should have more touchdowns. And I think he'll probably regress the other way. He's only has 1 on the year, I think.
That's
but last year when I drafted him, I was hoping for kind of what he's doing now.
Right.
Like pretty good yardage. Maybe he would get you a touchdown every once in a while. But I feel like this is like him. Except he should definitely have more touchdowns.
Yeah. That being said, the main reason he doesn't have that many touchdowns is because Mark Ingram
Run the rock.
and
You have
Alvin
a great
Kamara
offensive
have been
line, yeah.
phenomenal in the red zone. Like you're talking about, so Kareem Rush held the red zone title belt for the first few weeks of the season, and then Mark Ingram was like, "Nah, son." And
Kareem Rush?
Yeah, he did some work, man.
Who's Kareem Rush?
Or
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Why am I thinking
That's Kansas Jayhawk, right?
Oh,
Kareem Rush.
The former sharpshooter from 3, former Warrior.
Yeah.
Kareem Rush.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt. Sorry, guys. I'm on this celebration right now. So, but yeah, and so Ingram and is now on Keezer's team. You have Kamara, which is looking pretty good.
Round 15, baby.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like there's been so much of just first off, a lot of people got hurt, but also there has just been a general shift in offensive importance this year. So far away from the usual suspects.
Oh yeah.
That the scramble in the first few weeks to really get a good team together, especially in a keeper league like ours. The problem there is, like, if you're not good from the start in this league, you're not going to be able to catch up. You can in other leagues, but you really can't in this league.
In a league where you don't have to, you don't have to put value in your keepers. You could treat it like a seasonal fantasy football thing and not like a keeper thing. This would be the year where that would benefit owners. Yeah. But like you were saying, this year's completely been up in flux, and this is actually the reason why I traded my first-round draft pick was because Antonio Brown is doing pretty good now.
Yeah.
I think he's the number one wide receiver. But it was like, I'm not going to get Zeke. He's not going to fall to me. I didn't want Julio. That's turning out to be fine.
Yeah.
I didn't want Shady. That's turning out to be pretty
He's an
pretty
RB1,
good.
but he's a lower-end RB1.
Right.
No touchdowns.
Wasn't anybody that I would have wanted to take right there. I mean, Antonio Brown possibly, but the whole thing was with Ben Roethlisberger, and he was going to retire, then he unretired, and so I was like, I don't know. And he's coming on now, which is good for Antonio Brown owners, but I would have been burned by it in the first round.
But
anyway, point being, usual suspects that people were relying on aren't.
I was right
really
about AJ Green. I was right about Julio Jones. I was thinking about Dez Bryant. I remember talking about how Dez Bryant might be the wide receiver I take out of the three just because I like the quarterback the best out of the three. Mm-hmm. And I had Matt Ryan on my team, just so people know. But that's when I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'd rather go for broke. And it seems like right now the only wide receiver in that first, that top tier has been AB, but he was a volume guy the first few weeks. He was really – the points were being forced to him.
Right.
Now he's becoming the AB I think everybody was hoping for. So, but yeah, now things get interesting in a lot of different ways in our league. Because with 3 weeks left to go, essentially 3 playoff spots are sewn up. They haven't been clinched, although this week a Keyser win will clinch. If Joe wins and Robin loses or vice versa, the winner of those would clinch.
Right.
Because they would be at 9 wins with 2 left to play. So the big question now becomes what happens in our division where, you had a big week, very big week, and all of a sudden with 4 teams with that close of a distance between them and some head-to-heads still to come, there is some situations that could arise from this that would really that would be chaotic. I mean, it's going to be a very strange last few weeks of the season.
I think I'm pretty sure that the only way I would make the playoffs is if we have a tie. We're all 3-3 in the division, and I somehow get the points lead. So I would have to make up 120 points in 3 weeks,
which could happen. I mean, we've seen some really bad weeks.
But the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. But let's go ahead and break down the standings before we dive into this a little bit more, and then we can keep going with this. Right now, actually, we'll do a real quick recap of last week's games. We won't break them down all too much.
Yeah, there wasn't too much to really write home about. There was one matchup that was close to the very end, but that was really about it.
So we had me against Marcos. I ended up beating him 126-94. I go to 5-6 on the season. Marcos goes to 4-7. I was the second highest point total in the week.
Yes, you were.
Huzzah! Elliot takes down Pat, goes to 6-5. Pat goes to 1-10. 122-60 was that score, and then upside down in goal, which is Matty Hughes, ended up losing to Brienne 53-60. Interesting. And then Braggadocious 1-1 against you, and of course you ran into the Keezer Buzzsaw as he drops 168 points, 3 behind the all-time, which was Elliott. That was probably in year 1.
He was waiting for it.
But 168 to 111. You had a respectable week this.
Oh no,
this week.
I had the 4th highest point total this week, and it still didn't matter. So,
Right.
you know.
And Fart Apocalypse in the Shocker lost to Tahir.
Yeah.
95 to 106. Robin falls to 8-3. Tahir goes to 7-4. And then Scott, Alcoholics Unanimous, loses to Joe, Car Ramrod, 91 to 39. Joe goes to 9-2. Scott goes to 4-7. I talked a little bit about this after. I don't know if I got to. No, I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the podcast, but after the fire sale, which I will admit I started it. I started the fire sale.
Yes, you did.
I am
was it like
responsible.
10 trades in the span of 24 hours or
crazy.
something like that?
It was
ridiculous.
crazy. It was funny because I don't know why everybody else jumped ship because I jumped ship. Like I don't get it. There were so many people that were like in contention. But anyway, what was interesting was that after it was all said and done, a couple things changed. Three major things changed. One, Robin went from having the cakewalk schedule in his division
to
the playoffs to having now he has the tough one.
Right.
And Joe went from having the gauntlet type schedule to now he has the cakewalk schedule.
Right.
And then Tahir, since he was buying, was going to lose out the rest of the year to now there's a good chance that he could win out, barring there's a couple good games in there, like he has to face you still and stuff like that. But things have shifted a little bit. And then for Keezer, now he knows for sure there's nobody challenging him in his division because Matty Hughes, division record and all, 4-0, was at 5-5, kind of in striking distance a little bit. Pretty much threw in the towel and was just like, not going to be my year. So a lot of things opened up, and then some things also got a little bit more confusing in terms of what the outcome would be.
I mean, essentially half the league. So this was what's really funny. Half the league decided nah, right? And you were one of those that said nah. But what's funny is that it ended up being nah, but you're still in this thing. And so there are 5 teams that are just like, nah, we're done. But
I'm still trying though.
But this is the other thing, and I want to bring that up. 3 of the other teams on that other half, they're still in this thing. They are 100% still in this thing, and they're not going to make the playoffs. And that's what's really interesting about this is, I think in previous years we've had really good like 2-man races, where week 13 and week 14 set up some pretty crazy showdowns.
Sure.
For playoff spots. We're gonna have that in our division for sure, because the last 2 weeks are just gonna be insane. But there are some scenarios that all of a sudden don't look the best because of Tahir beating Robin. Tahir beating Robin was huge, because had we all been the same record going into this week, and with none of us playing in our division this week, one team could have at least gotten to level, essentially, within the division going into the final 2 weeks where we do have our head-to-heads. But it's going to be really weird now with Tahir having that 1-game lead, and also him still essentially having the division tiebreaker in his control, essentially.
Oh yeah, no. Tahir would have to, for Tahir not to get in, he will have to lose to you.
Yeah,
and he has to lose to Elliott.
Yes,
that is I mean, because then if that happens, you're looking at 3 teams, essentially. I mean, and then if I win my stuff.
Right.
I mean, we could potentially have all the teams, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Is
at 3-3.
We could have...
within the division.
We could have a 4-way tie within the division
at
7-7 or 8-6.
Yeah.
And all 4 teams at 3-3, in which case I'm the winner because I'll definitely have points.
Right. Unless my team goes bananas.
Yeah, right. But it's really weird that I have to both root for chaos and root for help. Like, it's really weird.
Right.
Like, I have to root for all the chaos, but I have to root for like a certain amount of chaos.
Right.
It's very weird. And it makes it exciting because I was kind of mentally just, after I lost DJ, I was like, I was still winning, but the way that some of the other teams were performing in the league, I was just like, it's just...
Right. I lost DJ. I had DJ in one of my other leagues. And
yeah, I had him in my other league. I had the number 1 pick in my other league. And, of course, I took DJ.
Right.
And, week 1. And this was a league I was in last place last year, and I came back, and we did this really cool way of if you were in the bottom half of the league, you didn't make playoffs, but they essentially made it a consolation bracket where if you are the 7th best team out of that consolation bracket, you get the number 1 pick.
Right.
And so it's essentially a way so that people don't tank all the way.
Right.
And I won that because I crushed it the last few weeks. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I can get DJ. And I had some really good sleepers picked out. I thought I was going to really do well. And, of course, he gets hurt. So there's a lot of people who...
you know what, though? Out of all the teams, like, even if you don't win this year, which there's a good chance of that not happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think out of all the teams that can look to next year and be like looking around, and you could easily say I'm probably in the best shape.
Yeah, but I'm missing a lot of draft picks. And
yeah, but those draft picks don't hurt you as bad because you already have premium talent.
I have to figure out a way to get a 6th again so I can keep Jordan Howard. But if I keep him and DJ and then DeAndre Hopkins in the first round, I'm going to be loving life. That's to have a top tier WR1 with his quarterback coming back.
Right.
And then
full season.
Yeah. And then a top tier RB1 and a guy who's basically, when he's not been hurt, a top tier RB1.
Right. And then Coleman.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that could happen here. I'm very excited for it. I have to figure out how to get those keeper picks and trade away some assets that I would be able to make those things happen.
Right.
But I'm not worried about that now. I'll make it happen.
Right.
Unless there's a collusion aspect to this league, which, it's true.
In this league? No.
Never. Yeah, and I know that you've made mention. I know and you've done it on the podcast, but there's been major mentions of it in our Slack group about what's happened the last couple of weeks with rental players and all that stuff. So I'm not going to say anything because it's just going to be...
You can.
No. Like, I really don't have much to say other than what's already been said. It's just one of those things where it needs to be fleshed out more for next season because
this is what we talked about. Remember before it was we're putting emphasis like this is this has to happen,
right?
Because people are going to be in different situations on a week-to-week basis,
right.
And so the rental player thing, it's a byproduct of that,
exactly.
Like. Because we were talking about, I don't know. Like, we were talking about not having rivalry games since we were going to make division games.
Right.
The most important barometer outside of overall record was going to be division games. It's like, well, if everybody's having their division games on the same week, then... Like, how do you prep for it?
That,
we had that whole argument. Well, our solution was have them on offsetting weeks, and then that way teams could do these kinds of trades to put them in a better position to win in what you would just call, important matchups. So I don't know. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we can demonize rentals so much. Like, I don't see how it's really hurting anything. I think the only time where it was like questionable was like the Joe Matt trade in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
because
that
affected two teams.
That one felt like a little. That one felt a little weird. Like if you were to say like that possible collusion, like that
Right.
felt like it was maybe going on that way. And of course, we can always fight and play devil's advocate or contrarian, and show the other side of the coin. But I don't see how there's a real problem with renting
Right.
players.
Sure.
I don't know.
No, and I just think that a lot of people feel like for what is being traded or what's not being traded, that I think there's just an aspect of it where people are like, well, some of us don't have the assets to do it. It's like, yeah, a lot of us don't have the assets to do it. But I think what you're seeing, especially from a guy like Keyser, is that he's just like, screw it, I'm going all in this year.
Right.
And he's made the most trades, and he's basically saying, I want the best guys. I don't care what it takes. And he's just got a bunch of non-keepers that aren't going to be on his team next year. And he's like, okay, I'll freaking Marlins this shit. And boom. And it's working for him. So we have seen plenty, and I mean we have seen plenty of different types of strategery in this league.
Right.
And we're just seeing the newest one. And I don't think it's really Moneyball or anything like that, but it's definitely a new strategy.
We've had those in the past. I think it's kind of mutual though, because it's people that want to have talent, and they're able to get them, and the people are also kind of like, well, I want some value, but I don't want to completely give up this person. Like, I don't know. I kind of think it's like beneficial to both.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine. I think what there will probably be a couple things where people will be like, well, what about this situation? But I think what we have done well in this league, and I will say, and I think everybody can agree with me on this, is when something has happened that there is a majority of the league isn't the biggest fan of, we've done a pretty good job of patching up loopholes, I think. So that's why I think, things will be looked at for next year, but I don't think you're going to see anything change drastically or anything like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, so this week things will be very interesting because, like I said, at least two teams will clinch. At least one team will clinch. There's a chance two teams could clinch. And then there's a chance that there will be a three-way tie in the Gedalia division with 2 weeks left to go.
Well, should we go ahead and look at week 12?
Yeah.
You down with that?
Sure.
You down with that?
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll do my game. It is me against Robin. Projection right now 105 to 103 in favor of me. He doesn't have a defense in though, so probably tack on about.
He was trying to get. Was he one of the guys who tried to get the Pittsburgh defense?
Probably.
I think so.
So I don't know what's the average. What is it like? You throw 6 points on there, something like that.
Yeah.
It's typically 6-7 points. Right. So we'll say Robin's at like 110. We'll say 110 to. We'll say 110.5 against 105.8. We'll say in favor of Robin. So this could be a big game for me in that it could keep me in the magical dreamland hunt. This could be dangerous though for Robin though, falling to 8-4, like we touched on before. Robin does not have the cakewalk schedule going forward, so falling to 8-4 could actually put him in a potential position of missing the playoffs if the losing continues because
Yeah, I mean, he says he's not a fan of his team, but it's also like, well, he is also about like a 15% chance to miss the playoffs right now because he's already banked 8 wins. If he gets that 9th win, it's going to be very difficult for him not to make the playoffs.
Well, if he gets to 8-5, though, I mean, you're looking at what could be dangerous because then it becomes a race between you and him in points.
Right.
And to hear if he...
Yeah, and then I get to face Keiser, which, fuck.
Right. So this is a big game, more so for Robin than for me. This is me playing the spoiler like I like to do, like I did last year after I beat Elliot and then Tim. I still plan on beating all you motherfuckers again. Like this, it's my time of year. This is what I do. I deliver the coal in the stockings. But I'll go ahead and we'll break down the Big Five and quarterbacks. I have Matt Ryan going against Tampa Bay at home, who all of a sudden...
Atlanta seems to have found their offense finally. It took them 12 weeks.
NFC South is scary freaking good.
Really weird. That really is good. Like that. It's a shame. Like I really hope 3 teams make it. From that conference.
Is that possible?
I think because you can have the division champ and then you can have
2 wild cards.
2 wild cards.
Oh, that'd be so good.
But the NFC North has something to say about that.
No, they don't.
Minnesota. Detroit's still in it.
Oh yeah, Minnesota, Detroit.
Yeah. So.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and you have maybe one team out of the NFC West because the Rams are doing well. So, although Atlanta went in and beat Seattle in Seattle, that's a hard thing to do.
Right.
Shout outs to Blair Walsh still not being able to make a fucking kick in the last few seconds.
Right. You know what I think?
Great Pete Carroll face, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that was peak Pete.
When that didn't go, he was just like,
oh man, it looked like he literally took a dump where he stood.
My prediction, NFC Championship game. Saints, Eagles.
Yeah, that's a game.
I think Eagles win because it'll be at home.
Right.
And I just think that their defense will play better. And I just feel like Eagles win. I think it'll be Eagles advance. And then I think for the AFC, it's going to be Steelers, Patriots.
Yeah. Congratulations to Carson Wentz on becoming the new Red Rocket, by the way.
And I actually think that the Steelers
Now, the reason why I actually think the Steelers have a shot, if that's the case, is because they're better equipped to win a shootout than the Patriots are. The Patriots offense is good because Tom Brady is a freaking android sent from Mars to play football. But the Patriots don't have a single person who can guard Antonio Brown. They could double team him, and it's not going to matter.
I think that their X factor this year would be their young defense, and I think that's one of the reasons why I think they would be able to score the way that they do. But they have this young emerging defense in Pittsburgh that is doing great things. Yeah, so I think Super Bowl. I got Eagles Steelers in the Super Bowl. And I, for some reason, it could just be the inexperience of the Eagles. I think the Steelers get it,
and then I think Ben retires,
and then Big Ben retires, and
one
then
for the middle finger.
I feel finger blasting.
God, can't be talking about Big Ben and finger blasting, especially in this politically charged environment.
But then that's when, if you have any stock in the Steelers offense, you just sell everything. If you're Scott, you just say who wants Le'Veon, because when Big Ben leaves, that's a freaking dumpster fire. Sorry, I only got to quarterbacks. Matt Ryan against Tampa Bay. Point being, Atlanta's starting to hit a different gear, and all of a sudden now I'm looking at him. I'm like, I could ride this train for a little bit.
Yeah, and
then wide receivers and running backs for me have Mike Evans, Alshon Jeffrey, Rashard Matthews, Alvin Kamara. In the emerging Orleans Darkwa.
Yeah, who's become RB2 essentially.
Yeah.
For the Giants.
Yeah. Potential low, probably ceiling, low end RB1.
His ceiling is Jordan Howard. He's a workhouse back who's going to get goal line touches.
Yeah.
That's his ceiling.
Robin has Tom Brady at home against Miami.
Who?
Listen, I love my fish.
Who?
Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah. By the way, two Northern California's finest as no longer playing for the Miami Dolphins.
That's right.
One
Maluga
due to,
and Kouamisi.
unfortunately, one due to spinal fusion surgery and the other due to not cool stuff with Ray Maluga. But, yeah.
But Tom Brady against Miami, he's projected at 23 points. That could be low. This could be
like it's at home, right? They're playing.
Yeah.
That means seriously, if
like
it's
a
not
40
25,
point. It's like a 40 point.
I might do a buzzball bet for under 25 points for Tom Brady. Like I'm just like, look,
I'll take that.
Like if somebody
I'm taking
thinks,
the over.
I mean, I'm already 2 in the hole. I'm already 2 in the hole at this point. I might triple ball it here.
Hey, but don't let me forget. But let's do some Thanksgiving game drink bets. We'll hit those. Cool. The inverse. I have Mike Evans and Matt Ryan. Robin has Julio Jones going,
right?
Who only has 1 touchdown this year. What the?
Yeah, that offense. I don't know what the hell it took for 11 weeks for them to figure things out. By the way, Julio Jones wasn't even featured in the game against Seattle.
Had one
with
one series early in the game,
and
then
they didn't have anybody covering him. He was double teamed, but it was 2 very not good corners.
Oh no, you have Richard. Their entire secondary was injured,
and you're not gonna go even against a double team, Mr. High Point. You're not gonna just throw a couple up there. It's like, come on, man. He's freaking Calvin Johnson.
That's what I was just gonna say. That I was just gonna say that Detroit made a living.
Yeah.
Off of throwing the ball up in the triple team to Megatron.
Calvin John's like, hi, I'm sorry. I'm going to catch this because you can't.
Yeah. But Demaryius Thomas at Oakland, Golden Tate, LaShawn McCoy, and Kareem Hunt, who's been tail spinning a little bit.
The grind is getting to him, it seems.
Vernon Davis I have as my tight end. Greg Olson is in for Robin. I have Macklin on my flex, Jay Ajayi and Robin's flex. I have Tucker going. He has Suckup going. I have the Cincinnati defense, and then Robin will have insert
defense is available based on ads. The Washington football team is facing the Giants, which a lot of people think is a pretty good play considering Eli Manning is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. The Chargers against Dallas.
You know what's funny?
On a short week.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah.
But it's also the Chargers.
I think he's going to pick up Minnesota against Detroit.
I think it makes
he's got to do
sense.
it by tomorrow morning. But don't be surprised if you're listening to this podcast, watching the Thanksgiving games, and he's got the Minnesota
the honest to
defense.
goodness truth is that Minnesota the past year or two has done really well against Detroit, especially at home.
Yeah,
defense has
They're
been really
at
stingy.
Detroit for the game tomorrow. Tennessee has Indy on the road, but it's the Indianapolis Colts, which are not good.
But it's also the Titans' defense.
You could also basically say, "Hey, Oakland, Denver, are you hoping for a 9-6 football game? Are you hoping for a 9-6 football game?"
9-5. Oh boy.
Another one. So this is where I think Robin has to make his decision.
Okay.
The Kansas City defense got dropped this week. They're playing against Buffalo.
Yeah.
But Minnesota is playing tomorrow, which means that he has to basically make his decision now. But if he doesn't pick any of those teams up tomorrow, then he is basically going to be left with Tennessee, Oakland, hoping Kansas City didn't get claimed. Chicago. The Rams. So New Orleans' defense is out there. They play the Rams this week, which is why a lot of people aren't going with them. But, I mean, New Orleans has been a good defense. So there's he's got some interesting choices because if this is a coin flip right now, everybody's like, oh, it's a defense. And it's like, well, the problem is that, you have to find a defense to work. And who knows who it's going to be at this point.
Next game we have Elliott against Matt Keiser, 102, essentially 103 is 102.99 points projected to 140 in favor of Keiser. Cousins is going for Elliott. Then he has Landry, Thielen, who's been a monster lately, Crabtree, McCaffrey, and Abdullah is his big five. Breeze going for Keyser with Green, Brown, Allen, Bell, and Gordon as his big five. The tight ends are Cook for Elliott, Gronkowski for Keyser, and then in the flex we have Funchess against Ingram, Boswell and Pittsburgh round out the special teams and kicker for Elliott, and then Goskowski in Baltimore for Keyser.
Yeah,
is there any chance for Elliott in this game?
Crabtree big game, McCaffrey big game.
Thielen big game.
Yeah, Thielen big game. I do say Crabtree big game because the no-fly zone quote unquote is in effect, but it's very odd to say that Crabtree can have a big game. But if that game does happen, if something happens that game, it essentially is going to be because of Crabtree. That's really the only person I think that's going to make that offense happen for the Raiders.
But Keys are expected to roll this week. Next game we have is Joe against Matt. Car Ramrod against Upside Down and Goal. 120-89 is the projected total. Matty Hughes has Jared Goff as his quarterback with Stills, Parker, Doxson, Miller, and Eckler as his big five. Joe has Russ Wilson, Diggs, Cook, Sanders, Gurley, and Murray as his big five. And then Clay against Ertz, and then Devontae Freeman against Carlos Hyde in the flex.
I have a feeling Devontae Freeman will not be in that starting lineup.
Probably not.
Even though Matty is in Peru right now.
Right. But Joe's probably going to roll.
Yeah, probably.
Let's go ahead and go down to the next game. Tahir versus Marcos, which, if this was probably 2 weeks ago, would have looked bad for Tahir.
Yeah.
But not so much now.
No.
114-99 is the projected total in favor of Tahir, the Teabaggers. Marcos has Mariota going with Lockett, Crowder, Hilton, Mixon, and Murray. Tahir has Prescott, who's been not very good lately.
Crap.
With Jones, Hill, Baldwin, Lewis, and Fournette as his big five. And then Witten against Kelsey, Amendola against Collins, and then Zerlin and the Jacksonville defense for Marcos with Lambeau and Philadelphia for Tahir.
Why do I have this feeling that Marcos can get 30 points from his special teams? He could get 30
I'm telling
points.
you what, man. Jacksonville has been freaking disgusting.
They might not even make the freaking playoffs, and they have the number one defense in football.
I think that if there was going to be an upset, I think Marcos has the team that could do it. Indy's defense is way better than people give it credit for, but Mariota's starting to ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Lockett actually has a really good going up against San Francisco. That's great for him.
Yeah.
And then Crowder's been getting peppered with a lot of work.
Yeah,
in Washington.
Terrell Pryor has been absolutely terrible.
I hope that he goes back to Cleveland.
Can you imagine that?
Did you hear that they were trying to deal for him before the break? Mm-hmm. Couldn't get it done.
Deal for him and get Josh Gordon back on there.
I'd be so happy.
Cleveland going to go 10-6 next year.
I'm all about it. I am so all about it.
Sean Keyser, go get what's his name, the running back from the stud running back what's his name
from Penn State?
Oh yeah.
No, he'll go somewhere else.
I
don't actually. What's Cleveland's record?
Cleveland's got some picks next year, bro.
All right, I'm all about it. I'm in the dog pound. I'm switching from Miami. No, I can't switch to Cleveland.
Once LeBron leaves,
because I hate the Indians.
Nobody goes and watches the Indians, which is terrible.
And I hate the Cavs. I can't. No, I won't.
Let's go to my game.
Let's head on down.
Oh, no,
we got one more.
I'm last.
Alcoholics unanimous against Big Breed.
God, this is the shit bowl.
73 to 70 is the projected total in favor of Scott.
I'm going to make this bet right now, and you can basically say.
Okay.
I'm going to say Keyser outscores the combined score of this game this week.
All right.
Will anybody think that's not going to happen?
You'll take the over? So the line is...
So Keyser's projected to hit 140.
essentially 144.
Right.
We'll say,
And
is
Keezer's
the line.
projected for 140.
Right. You're taking the over on 144.
I think that Keezer outscores both of these teams this week.
Okay. Their total or their projected total?
No, the total.
Okay.
Like, I think Keezer's going to outscore both teams this week.
All right. I'll take the under.
All right. There's a bet.
All right. There we go. I'm not going to break this one down. Let's head on down to your game. The 1-10. A team has no name, Pat, against the Birchers.
Let's just be honest. If I don't win this game, I don't deserve to be anywhere near playoff.
I agree.
Risk.
And you won't be.
Yeah, and I won't be.
We'll break this one down, I guess. So you
guess.
can talk. You're here, so you can talk about
I
it.
guess. I mean,
Pat has Turd Biscuit at quarterback. Juju Smith-Schuster, Williams, Westbrook, Drake, yes, the rapper, and Alfred Morris, my dog, as his starting five. Tim, Cam Newton,
black quarterback.
for show. Thomas, Hopkins, Fitzgerald, Coleman, and Howard is his big five. Pat has Ingram going against Walker, McKissick going against Woodhead, Butler going against Lutz, and Houston going against the Rams. Why are we saying the Rams are available? You don't have the...
No, the Chargers are available,
Okay.
not the Rams.
Got you. You know,
The Saints are available against the Chargers. Or the Saints are available against the Rams.
go ahead, give me your thoughts, Tim.
I don't know anymore. I feel like, first off, the reason why the projections hate me this week is literally because my entire team is playing a top 5 defense. Like,
Not the Jets.
well, I mean, like, it essentially for against wide receivers, against running backs, etc.
Yeah, you have some pretty tough
I have
matchups.
really bad
Coleman, potential huge game against
Right.
Tampa Bay.
Right.
Newton, potential huge game against the Jets.
Right. Although I would really
Woodhead against Houston if he gets some run.
Yeah, and I'm basically taking this week. Like, I have Cooper, but it's against Denver, and it's just like, if he's not doing well in the offense, what makes me think he's going to have a big game against the best
he's talented.
secondary?
Let me get him.
Huh?
Let me get
No.
Cooper.
No.
What'd you trade for him?
Sixth.
I'll give
Sixth
you
or fourth, one of the two.
a 6th or a 4th.
I can't remember which one
All
it
right,
was.
I'll look
I
it
traded
up.
a sixth and a fourth, and I can't remember which one I traded. I think
If I
traded
gave
sixth.
you equal value, would you do it?
I don't know, because I feel like I need him right now.
Well, not enough to start him, obviously. I'd start him. Let me get him. Let's do this right now. Thanksgiving.
Right now. Let's not give the people what they want.
Come on, dog.
So,
You sent a
a
6.
sixth. Yeah, I need a sixth back. I don't know if I want to trade him though.
You need a 5th.
I already have a fifth.
Well,
a
I thought
sixth
you need a 6
Yeah.
to keep who?
for Jordan Howard.
All right.
Yeah, so I'll figure.
I'll
it
trade you a 6 for Amari Cooper.
out. Not right now
Why not right now?
because I feel like I'm.
You feel like you're going to sit him on your bench?
I just made the change to Woodhead, and so like literally before I came over, I put Woodhead in my flex, and so I'm still debating on whether I want to go back and forth here, on whether I want to start Cooper and basically just be like, eat shit or die, but I want to start Woodhead because I feel like against Houston he's going to have some.
I will give you appropriate rest of the year value for Amari Cooper.
3.
I have the
72.
maths. I'll show you the maths when we're done. I have a whole thing. That's why I didn't trade Alvin Kamara. Nobody's giving me proper value for him. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
I'm not going to do it right now.
I will show you that you will be getting proper value for him, and we will do the trade.
No, we won't. That's okay.
Why? Why is it whenever I try and trade with people, nobody wants to trade with me?
Because
Everybody thinks I'm trying to shark
interdivision
him.
with 3 weeks left to go. That's why.
And he's on your bench. You obviously don't want him.
I kind of do want him. That's not how the bench works.
How about this? I will give you a
That's
6.
how the waiver wire works.
I will give you a 6th round draft pick, and I will give you
for
the Baltimore wide receiver.
Mike Wallace, who I just picked up.
No, the other one. That was on Kansas City. I'm blanking on his name.
Oh, God. Jeremy Maclin? No. Joe Flacco is not elite, Pete.
No, I know that, but somebody has to catch passes. He's going to throw for like 200 yards. Somebody has to get those 200 yards.
Yeah, somebody gets 60 yards.
Anyway, that is week 12.
12, yeah. Is Blaine Gabbert involved in your trade at all? No?
He can be, if you want. Tim, let me get Cooper.
No. No.
Yeah. Is it just because I want him?
No, it's because it's an
Whenever I want
interdivisional trade with 3 weeks left to go.
So what?
I don't mind trading within the division when the freaking division isn't on the line.
Tim, I will give you value for this season.
No. I'm okay.
What if it was Alvin Kamara on a loan rest of season for Amari Cooper?
Because I have to give him back, and I don't want to give back Alvin Kamara, considering I have like 8 keeper picks.
But you won't get to keep Amari Cooper at the end of this year.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Who do you like more, Amari Cooper or Alvin Kamara?
I've already traded for one. That's not how this works.
Well, who do you like better, Cooper or Kamara?
Kamara. But I have to trade again for him. I don't want to trade again for him.
You're the worst trader ever.
I have made some very bad trades, and I've also made... I am like the ultimate hot cold trader. Like, I have made some absolutely bafflingly bad trades, and then I've also made like the single biggest fuck you trade in the entire league's history that paid off for me, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Which was what?
Aaron Rodgers for Christian Michael and Michael Thomas, and I went and got Matt Ryan off the waivers, and I won a championship. I mean, yeah, Christian Michael is done after 2 weeks, but I got Michael Thomas, so I'm cool with it.
I don't know why you want Amari Cooper. Have you seen his schedule?
Yeah,
You should trade him to me. He is Denver this week, the Giants.
Terrible.
Then it's at Kansas City,
Not a good secondary.
Dallas,
Terrible.
Philly,
Better pass rush than secondary.
Chargers.
That's
That's fine.
Bolo tie.
That's fine, man. Let's see. What week? Week 14 is when we play.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper's at Kansas City.
Yeah.
Whoever Alvin Kamara is playing, he is going to throat intercourse Amari Cooper. He will throat intercourse Amari Cooper. You had your chance.
All right. Thanks.
You had your chance.
Appreciate
Live
it.
with it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're going to be in a position where you're going to be like, all I have to do
Is
is beat Pete. And then, you know what I'm going to do? Rip out your heart, throw it on the ground, stomp on it. Stomp on it like this. You hear that?
It's terrible. Get away from me.
Stomp on that shit. All right. Anything else you want to touch on? Any thoughts on the league so far? What grinds your gears?
That we have our first runaway. I think our first runaway winner in about 3 years, and I think we've all gotten used to the parity. Like last year, there was 9 teams in the mix in the last 2 weeks. 4 in one division that somehow, some way, all finished above 500. And I think this year, I think a lot of people are just kind of like the competition. Even though there are teams that have good records, are just kind of like, well, is anybody going to beat Keyser? And I think there's some people who are just kind of like, you know. And so I think that's made it a little bit less fun. Although in our division, we're having
saying the
some
league's gone stale.
I don't think it's gone stale, but I think what we did is we got comfortable with the competitive nature of the last couple of seasons. Where even when Joe won in 2015, it was a very competitive season. His division wasn't really that competitive. I mean, Robin came in second, but it wasn't really that competitive.
Right.
But last year, Brand a good team. You know, I came out and won the division. You were there till the final week. Elliot was there till the final week. 4 teams in the freaking bad sports punch divisions were ridiculous. Like, the fact that none of those ended up making, outside of one team, made the playoffs is really weird.
Right.
But that's the thing, is like last year was so hyper competitive that I'm not sure if this is directly related to what happened last year, that we have one team basically saying, nah, I'm taking it all. But there is just kind of like one of those feelings where it's just like, it would be nice to have a little bit more competition than I think we've had. So, or there's this foreboding that it's just going to be just a teaser.
Do you think we need to hit the reset button?
I don't know about the reset button because, like I said, I do feel that the way that like Keiser is basically built a Florida Marlins team.
Right.
There's no keepers next year. He has very few draft picks. Very few. I mean, he's like.
Do you think this is Keiser's last year? Is this his swan song?
I don't know.
Do you think he's gonna win the title?
Keiser's always played to the beat of his own drum. He's been, I've known him. People know this, but I've known him about as long as anybody else in this league. And
he's got the What the Fuck Just Happened Today podcast. He's got the website. He's a busy man. He says he's busy.
Yeah. And
maybe this is it for him. Maybe he's pushing in all of his chips.
I hope not. I think that I think it's good to have his presence in this league because he challenges the way that team building occurs in this league. In some way, I know there's a lot of people who don't like the way he's gone about it in some ways, but I also feel like a lot of that just has to do with the fact that he's bringing, and this has happened to a couple people in this league throughout the years, have brought things to light where it's like, oh yeah, well this isn't against the rules in this league, or has basically challenged, and so I think that's just naturally how things happen, where people are like, oh well, you can do this or you can do that, and it's not against league rules or league bylaws or what have you. And I hope he stays, but I also understand that we have lives, we have things that can get in the way of our enjoyment sometimes, and I just hope that it would be nice to have 12 teams next year. That's all I'll say.
Let's do some. I think that drinking will be involved in some way, shape, or form wherever everybody is.
Look,
Thanksgiving.
Let's just point something out tomorrow. Football starts at 9:30 in the morning tomorrow.
I must admit I will be watching the parade.
I
will be over
parade,
at Mom and Dad's.
You will, and I feel like we need to have some type of alcoholic beverage at 9 o'clock when the most gallon of floats.
What are you thinking?
Are going down 5th Avenue.
What are you thinking?
Or Miracle on 34th Street, wherever 34th Street, whatever. We need a good morning buzz, like a morning.
Or we just have coffee.
I think we have coffee, but we need to throw something in it.
Well, I think what we have to do is just drink coffee.
Okay.
Have breakfast.
Okay.
Wait till the parade's over.
Okay.
And then switch over to football.
Okay.
And then we can start partaking in some stuff because we ain't changing.
Look, I mean,
my daughter will rip my head off if we change to.
Yeah, your daughter will basically.
Point is, we need to have some league-wide bets. Everybody needs to participate.
Yeah. Find a friend and do a drink bet with them.
No. Let's come up with some right now. Let's come up with 3 bets, and everybody in the league is participating. If you're not going to participate, then you have to drink 3 drinks.
Okay.
3 shots or chug 3 beers.
I'm going to make the first one easy. Tomorrow, during any of the 3 post-game interviews that will occur during these Thanksgiving games, will any player take a bite of a turkey leg?
Oh, I was going to say that one. I'll say yes.
You'll say yes. Okay. I'll say no just because I want to drink more.
Okay.
Second, will John Madden's name be uttered tomorrow during Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Okay.
How about this? Will a clip of John Madden be shown prior to the year 2000?
Yes. I'll take that bet.
I will also take that bet.
Okay.
That might be a little too easy.
Will Joe Buck... Wait a minute. Who's got the Fox game tomorrow?
It's probably Joe Buck and Aikman.
Well, no. Like, what's the Fox game tomorrow? What's the 1 o'clock game?
It's probably Cowboys and...
So what's the night game tomorrow? It's not Washington, New York.
I think Washington is the
Oh,
night
that's
game
a
tomorrow.
terrible game.
No, it's not.
Washington, New York? That's a pretty bad football game.
Yeah, Dallas has the Chargers
At 1:30?
1:30.
Okay. Does Joe Buck bring up the fact that Phil Rivers has 7 kids?
That is a good one. I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, it's about family.
Yes.
The family will get brought
I
up.
love this. We're making very good drink bets. I hope I lose.
Here's a drink bet.
Okay.
Will there be a picture shown of Philip Rivers with his surrounded by family,
Oh God.
and he's wearing a bolo tie?
I mean, okay. First, no, sadly, but I will take 2-1 odds on any picture, anything being shown tomorrow on any of the football sports networks with him wearing a bolo tie. Like, I want the NBC Thursday Night Football pregame with Dan Patrick or Tirico, whoever the hell ends up being, showing Phil Rivers at the postgame presser in like plaid with a bolo tie on. I hope that happens.
Here's one. The line is set at 6.5
Okay.
times the phrase
Knock the stuffing out of him. I feel like I should end it on that.
I think every turkey pun we should just have to drink period during tomorrow. I was going to say you know what though, that would take the monitoring of all 3 games. I was going to say support our troops.
I don't want to do that.
6.5.
Under.
We might hit 7
We're gonna be drunk by
in the
3 p.m.
Dallas
tomorrow.
game. All
We're
right,
gonna
maybe
be
that's not a good
hammered.
one.
We're gonna be hammered.
So let's try and recap. Okay, so we're not going to do the John Madden one because that's a given.
Yeah, we have.
He
Is
started
somebody
it.
gonna take a bite of a turkey leg?
Right.
Not just hold, but take a bite out of it.
Right.
How about this? I'm going to amend that. A non-offensive or defensive lineman taking a bite out of the turkey leg. Because you know the big boys are definitely going to take a bite out of them.
No. You would want it to be, the bet would be a offensive or defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Because it's like always
That's how
a
you
quarterback.
get odds, though, Pete. That's how you get odds.
Well, the odds are insanely high that it's going to be a non-lineman
Yeah. And
doing that.
oh man. Okay. Fine. Any of them. Fine.
What are our... What,
That drink bet.
okay.
Joe Buck bringing up Phil Rivers 7 kids.
Okay. It's a great one.
Prop
Prop bet. The picture.
bet. Bolo tie.
Surrounded by family.
Surrounded by family. Bolo tie. Surrounded by family.
Yeah.
Other
prop bet.
There's Troy.
Prop bet B. They bring up Philip Rivers driving from San Diego to L.A. 2 hours every day
for his kids to go to school.
No, sitting in his car doing film study, which is what he does.
Okay, got it. Right.
That they mentioned that.
Right. Because he doesn't want to get his family out of San Diego. Yeah, I can't even remember the other ones we did.
We came up with so many.
I know. Someone take note of these. Pat or Scott, one of you intrepid young collegiates.
Right. Anyway,
Collegians.
Everybody's participating. I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the fact that for the majority of my year, I get to talk about fantasy football, think about fantasy football, plan and play fantasy football, and be fucking miserable because I don't win in our league.
That's how you should be.
And I win in the other leagues, but it doesn't matter
Right,
because
exactly. This is the only league that matters.
it is.
It is. So Pete, I have to ask you something.
Sure.
You have a bench on top of a bench.
Yeah, yep, I do.
How?
Picnic bench on top of a picnic
You have a
bench.
picnic bench on top of a picnic bench.
You'll have to ask my wife. That's her doing. All right, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, we do.
Great to have you back, Tim.
Yeah, I realize this is my first in-season one I've done. And very happy to be back. Very happy to be a part of this. And everybody else, have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy the turkey for all you vegans out there.
I'm not a big turkey fan.
You know?
I'll have a slice, but I'll be dabbling.
People have
in other things.
literally all the mashed potatoes put in front
Lots
of
of
them.
mashed potatoes. Love it.
We should throw some garlic in ours tomorrow. I'm gonna.
No, we
Really?
shouldn't.
Okay.
Just
You-
mashed potatoes, salt, pepper. Put some gravy on it.
Little heavy whip. Are you a milk or heavy whipping cream? What do you-
I'm a milk.
Okay. Heavy whipping cream makes them lighter and fluffier.
Both
but
are fine.
fine. Okay.
Well, actually, it's just never mind.
Sure.
Not going to get into this right
Okay.
now.
We
We are 18 minutes away from Thanksgiving. Tim, anything that you were thankful for?
I'm thankful I get to start listening to Christmas music tomorrow.
There you go. Some of us
That
like to do it
might not be
before.
a veiled shot at other people who have been listening to Christmas music already. Damn it.
All right. This has been the Dynasty. Thank you so
I'm
much.
also thankful for my Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I know. I would love a Nintendo Switch.
It's fun.
My birthday's coming up.
I know it is. I know it is. Big guy.
League, let's get together.
I know it
Pull
is, Big
some money.
Cat.
Pull some money together,
If the entire
League.
league gets $25 they can pitch in.
Everybody.
Each, not total. You sons of bitches. Each. You cheap sons of bitches.
Let's get Pete a Switch.
Just get Pete a Switch.
Get me a
Start a
Switch.
GoFundMe to get Pete a Switch.
Because I need to play some Zelda and Mario.
You have a Wii. You had a Wii U. You could have played some Zelda.
I didn't know that it was on it. It's so sad that I freaking sold it. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great Indigenous Peoples 2.0 day. Hug your family. Youngins. Sneak some beverages. And we will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.